Racers and Rental Cars podcast with your host, Top Fuel Cam, Cameron Foray, and his co-host, Mr. Top Sportsman, Don O'Neill. Keep on till they can't ignore you. Put it up for the Wigan Warriors.
What's going on, Don?
What's up, Cam?
Just living the dream here in California. Trying to live the race car dream, but I should probably move back there if I want to live that dream.
The race car dream, it is, it's kind of like that unicorn.
Yeah, that the unicorn you can never catch.
Well, the only people I ever hear talk about the unicorn are the ones that are heavily medicated. So maybe that's the other option I need to be on. Maybe I need to get me a good therapist with some medication.
There you go. So what are we on, episode 3 now? So what are we talking about today?
Okay, first off, 3, really?
Yeah.
Man, they still haven't canned us yet. Okay,
moving right along.
Hashtag still here.
Yeah.
So we said we were going to talk about travel within the motorsports industry.
Travel within the motorsports industry. Oh boy, this is one that I can relate to big time because, as like you, I'm sure you travel a hell of a lot, like I do.
Yeah, I guess when you really think about it, from motorsports, you know, we all have these huge overhead expenditures for our racing, and it doesn't matter whether it's NASCAR or dirt track or go-karts or motocross or whatever it can be. Diesel fuel airplane flights, getting from point A to point B, whether it's a small team, a big team, no team.
Well, yeah, that's people don't realize. You know, yeah, we talked about with episode 2 about going racing and getting set up to go racing, right? So you buy your car or whatever, and then it's like, now, okay, yeah, let's go racing. Well, you don't realize how much it costs to actually do that. And okay, where are you going to go race? So, you know, being in California, we're kind of limited on tracks, so we have to think ahead. Like, you know, we have to travel, you know, at least 6 hours. Like, if it's not Pomona, which is 40 minutes, or Fontana, which they just do like local, they have one divisional a year. Other than that, like, we're going to Arizona, way up north to Sonoma, like all over the place. So, I mean, you have to factor in days off work and, you know, all that stuff in order to get dialed in. So,
well, yeah, and I would think, you know, back this way, every time we go to lay out an event, a schedule, you know, we look at what fuel prices are. Because diesel prices, if you stop at a chain truck stop, if you will, that's got all the space in the world, I mean, you're literally paying anywhere from 20 to 35 cents more a gallon for diesel fuel than you're getting when you go to just a regular convenience store to get diesel fuel. So, I mean, we got to look at all that, and I can only imagine what's a gallon of diesel fuel in California.
Oh, dude, it can be upwards over $4 a gallon.
Is it $4 a gallon right now?
Mm-hmm. I pay just for regular gas. Across the street from my house, the Chevron was, what was it, $3.99 just for 87 gas, and diesel I think was $4.10. I think. Yeah.
Do you guys pass out drug tests out there to those guys? Everybody out there that owns a convenience store should be drug tested.
Agreed.
Or at least the people that put the prices up on the board, they should be drug tested.
Well, it's really sad when they spike the gas prices around here because they run out of like number 4. So like if everything is $4 a gallon, they have to, like, you know, you can see like they'll tape up like a 4 on one of the signs or whatever because they rent. You know, it's just usually it doesn't get over that, but lately that seems to be the growing trend. So get used to it. $4 a gallon.
You guys got bonus plans out there where, you know, you get so many gallons, you get 10 cents off and stuff?
Actually, we do. Like with the grocery stores for like Chevron and I think Shell, like some of the bigger names, like if you shop at their sister grocery store, like if you spend, you got to spend a bunch of money there. So I usually steal my parents' code. And, but it could be like 10 or 20 cents off a gallon, which, I mean, sounds dumb, but yeah, it adds up at the end of the month.
Heck yeah, because I'm back here. I'm like, I got all the girls' cell phone numbers are signed up. You know, you get 10 cents a gallon, but you only get the max out at 20 gallons. So, you know, Well, the truck holds more than 20 gallons, so I'm like entering this. Emily's code goes in, and Claire's code goes in, and Doc's code goes in. Okay, now I'll put mine in. All right, I can get 80 gallons of diesel fuel. I'm saving 10 cents a gallon. That adds up.
Yeah, hell yeah. So yeah, I mean that's a huge thing that people don't realize, and it affects me greatly because I mean my budget's very limited on travel and whatnot. So, but I mean, even like with our business stuff, I mean, traveling for race pack and stuff like that, when I go to an event, like it's a lot of money, like just flying to an event, getting a hotel, getting a rental car, doing some rental car exploits while you're out there, all that stuff adds up. Food, that's a huge thing. And like, I'll tell you, dude, I have the worst travel luck you will. If you ever travel like physically with me, I don't recommend it. Like Todd in the office at Race Pack, he refuses to fly on an airplane with me because every single time I get on an airplane, it's delayed. Like when I was doing a lot of tech for Race Pack, like I would fly somewhere and they'd be like, all right, see you on Wednesday. Because like the race is over on Sunday. You usually fly home Sunday night or Monday. Well, yeah, if you fly with Cameron, yeah, you're probably going to show up like 3 days later. Yeah.
So what's that about? So the airline industry's got you like red flagged or something?
Dude, I have no idea. I don't know if it's when I put in my TSA pre-check number or what, but they're like, oh, Cameron's here. Like, maybe we should delay this flight. I can't tell. Dude, you name it. Like, I was somewhere on a layover one time and I couldn't get on the plane because the toilet backed up and it broke the pipe on the toilet and there was feces or whatever they said over the intercom all over the plane. And so, yeah, we had no plane. So then we had to like stay the night and get a plane in the morning because they ran out of planes. I mean, you name it. I can't tell you how many times I've sat in the Houston airport, the Atlanta airport, the Oakland was big for a while when I was driving the funny car, man. It was, dude, I sat at that. It would literally be like, I'm not even from Oakland. And I would go to the bar and the guy would be like, oh, hey, Cameron, what's up?
Well, I mean, hold up a minute. Why did they call you bad luck on that? Who wants a pipe to bust while you're flying at 25,000 feet?
Well, yeah, maybe there was a silver lining on that one, possibly.
Yeah, that's luck. I'm going, man. I'm a lucky guy today. I could have been flying with poo.
Yeah, nobody wants to fly with poo.
No, it is. People don't. I don't fly for a lot of our races. Actually, man, what's a TSA pre-check? What is that?
Oh, you don't know that? And you're a racer? Oh, dude, it is the best thing since sliced bread. So, I mean, at least here, like our airports, like LAX, Orange County, like it's a disaster every time you go there. So, what it is, you go and you get interviewed. You pay like $50 for 7 years, and when you go through TSA, like or the screening or whatever at the airport, you just roll in and they check your ID. You don't have to take your shoes off. You don't have to take anything out of your bag, and you're in a special line. Yeah, it's like a front of the line pass. And when the line is like 20 miles long at LAX, you're like, what's up? Makes you feel like you're Matt Damon or something.
The TSA took that straight from Disney. That's straight out of Disneyland. The Fast Pass, isn't that what they call it?
Yep. That's the TSA Fast Pass. They actually have one for international travel too. Like if you're going to Canada and stuff, they have, my wife has it. So you literally don't even go through customs. You just walk through and they have a card and they scan your eyeball and off you go. It's pretty cool.
Scan your eyeball.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I don't have any of that stuff. I don't fly. I drive a lot. Do we have like pre-check for calluses on your hands from holding onto a steering wheel for 18 hours for days on end? Do we have any of that?
You must be a door car guy if you're clenching the steering wheel that hard.
Oh, hey, have you seen the way some of these people drive around you when you got 85 feet going down the highway? They're trying to cut you off.
Yeah, try to do that in LA.
Yeah, I did it in Chicago. It didn't work out too well. I moved from there.
No, yeah, it's a big situation, I will say. But what I know you don't travel a lot on airplanes, but it's something like, I mean, we're talking about this. Whether you're traveling, I mean, people that travel all the time, they learn these things that it's just like, oh God, like if I ever owned this airline, I would do this, this, and this. And it's like people that don't travel, like I have friends that like they just work in an office or they're reps locally or whatever, and they're like, oh, you're so lucky you get to travel so much. And I'm like, it sounds really cool until you're literally sitting in an airport for 9 hours waiting for your flight and, battling the people to get on the plane. Somebody's sitting in your seat and then you got to argue with them because they're wrong and you're right. And, this is my first time flying or whatever. Like it takes a toll on you and it stresses you out. And then you get to the racetrack and then it affects your racing, unfortunately, sometimes. So you gotta really like buckle in and strap in and do that. When I was driving the funny car, the 1 year or 2 years or whatever, I traveled a lot because we did Canada, we did like Washington, like that whole like Western, Northwestern deal. So I was on a plane a lot, and you get there and like they would look at me and they'd be like, "Damn, dude, you all right?" I'm like, yeah, I just had like 3 layovers and, every single flight was delayed. I was sprinting from one plane to another and, because I can't miss it. You got to get in a race car. So, but yeah, it's something that, people they want to go racing and they forget about all this stuff. That's the biggest thing. But at the end of the day, like, I really do love it. And, it sounds like a grind. It sounds mundane once you do it all the time. But to be honest, there's nothing like getting on a plane and saying you get to go drive a race car on the weekend and, or even going to a racetrack. Like, people see, it's funny. You can tell when you're on a plane, you can see the people that travel a lot. Like they all have like the same style backpack. They like know like all this stuff. It's like, okay, that guy's an industry guy. Like, especially like, it's funny. Like if you fly to PRI or SEMA or something like that you get on the plane and it's like the SEMA bus because like everybody's, the race pack, backpack, on my back, this guy's got the K&N backpack, this guy, all the CP piston or whatever it is around here. It's like, hey, what's up?
The Bose noise canceling headphones. Yeah. So they act like they're listening to something so no one will talk to them.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's little tricks of the trade like that. Yeah.
Well, see, that sounds like you get, when you're getting all stressed out at the airport and stuff, it sounds like me pulling into a stacking line. Get to a race and you're stacking, and we're all getting out of our vehicles. And if you've ever pulled up behind me or be in front of me, or I pull up behind you from that standpoint, and I get out, it's typically me and Diane yelling at each other because she's so upset because I have lost my mind driving through these little towns and people not paying attention. And she's like, the highway is share the highway for the world and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm bigger. Get the hell out of my way.
Yeah.
Do you not have situational awareness? Do you not see where I am?
Yeah. You're trying to make a right-hand turn and you're bigger than the whole town or city.
And I'm getting, my wife's like, "You're so ridiculous. You got road rage." And I'm like, I'm looking for somebody to kind of validate my thought process in the stacking line. I'm like, hey, come here. Did you see that back there? I know you saw it. Oh man, I saw it too. See, Di, I told you it's not just me. I'm looking for that validation factor of trying to calm down before I get out of an intersection and want to choke somebody.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a stressful thing. Like when you're driving a rig, or you have a huge living quarter, like a gooseneck trailer, right, and a dually.
Yep.
Okay, yeah,
85 feet long.
85 feet. Whoo, that's pretty stout. Just getting in that to go to the racetrack, people don't realize how stressful that is. That can kill somebody just as easy as a race car can, or if not easier, because there's so many other elements, people cutting you off and getting on the freeway, and people don't realize that you need to get on the freeway at a high rate of speed and not 30, especially when you have a rig coming at you at 75 miles an hour.
or you're trying to educate people on not pulling up to fill up their gas vehicle at the only diesel pump on the outside in the gas station.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. Go ahead.
Oh
Fill
yeah.
up the soccer van while I am trying to get diesel.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing. So I like when I go super comp racing or whatever, like when we race our stuff, I have a 32-foot like mini toter and a 32-foot trailer. So it's still relatively big. It's not a huge stacker toter thing that's 90 feet long, but just driving it around town, like it's tough, man. It's people don't get it. People don't get it.
No, not at all. Not at all. How about the other? So, we've loaded up and we're leaving. We've planned our trip and stuff. So my next favorite one is always trying to figure out where you're going to eat at while you're trying.
It depends on parking.
Right? Right, and if you're if you're riding in the truck that I'm driving, you're probably only eating when it runs out of fuel.
Yep, and you're only going to the bathroom when it runs out of fuel too.
Right,
Yeah.
that is always a challenge because there's only so many places that you can get rigs in to be able to eat.
Yeah,
and I gotta now this is kind of my thing from all those years driving crisscrossing across the country doing the Army thing. So like I had truck drivers tell me all the time, don't eat a big meal once the sun goes down because you'll get tired and you won't make it. You'll fall asleep, right? So I've always remembered that. My wife gets mad. So like if the sun goes down and I know I'm driving through the night, there's no eating going on, right? So you better just have like all kinds of snacks.
Yep.
And she laughs all the time about that.
Well, it's true. Your body gets lethargic after you eat. I mean, imagine eating a turkey dinner and then going and sitting on the freeway for 12 hours.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. No, yeah. So the whole eating thing, travel, I guess if you're eating airport food, I'm sure you probably got, you guys out there on the West Coast come back this way all the time. I'm sure you got the right restaurants in the airports across the country. I got to go to Sbarro or Sbarro, and and you got to go to
Chick-fil-A is my go-to, man. I love Chick-fil-A.
Oh, yeah, Chick-fil-A in California.
We within the past probably 5 years we've gotten it, and it is heaven.
My wife does not like Chick-fil-A. I cannot get her to eat Chick-fil-A.
Man, I thought I liked her.
And she's she's not a big Chick-fil-A. Everybody else in the house likes Chick-fil-A, but she just doesn't like Chick-fil-A. Could you imagine how much money somebody like In-N-Out Burger could make if they were in an airport?
Oh, yeah, it'd be huge. The problem it'd shut the airport down because people would probably go there just for the burgers and, they'd miss their flights all the time, which maybe would help me get on a flight instead of, you know what I mean? That's actually a pretty good idea. I should look into that, see if we could start a petition.
Call Lindsay, right? Call Lindsay up, send her a text, and tell her that we think she should get like In-N-Out Burger at
LAX.
LAX. I was thinking like Chicago or Nashville because those are two of the typical ones that if I fly, those are the ones I'm in. So yeah, I'd like it there, and then I guess probably the next one would be like somebody like Portillo's. Portillo's would be another good restaurant that they should have in an airport across the country.
Yeah, but okay, speaking about restaurants and stuff like that, you see, you fly out of Nashville all the time, and for one, I love Nashville, and one of the reasons is when you go to the airport, there's like country music playing, and like it's just like you're like down home, like you get off the plane and it's like time warp. I just got on a plane at LAX and everybody wants to kill each other because they hate their lives, and then you get there and they're like, "How y'all doing?" And then the guy's like playing like his acoustic guitar at Tootsie's or whatever it is, and it's like, damn, man, this is I like this.
Yeah, you go from gangster rap in LAX or blaring through the loudspeaker to the guy trying to make it on I'm going to be a big star sitting at the bar.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah.
That's for sure. No, and that's now I got to go back to food because that's the family I work for. They're big foodies, right? They love food. They find all the restaurants that are off the beaten path. If you ever travel across the country and you want to know where to go eat or something like that, all you got to do is text JB or Tori or send them a Facebook message, and they will tell you. If it's got a drag strip there and we've been there, they will tell you the best restaurants to go to that are not a chain. That's kind of like our internal rule, right? We don't eat anywhere when we're on the road that we couldn't eat right here where we're at. You just don't, nobody's going to McDonald's. And, there's a McDonald's here. You want to eat something different.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, that's a good thing. Like, I mean, that's part of the cool, fun thing about traveling. I get to go see and do things you don't usually do at home. So, I mean, that makes it cool. Now, I have to ask you when we talk about food, since you being a racer, how many Outbacks have you been to in your life?
Oh, geez, a lot. Especially before I started working here. When I was traveling for the Army, it seemed like there was every residence inn, because our big military Army was big Marriott. Every residence inn had an Outback nearby. and they almost all of them had Waffle House.
Oh yeah, see, we don't have that here. There's some in Arizona, but yeah, Waffle House. Oh, and you guys have Cracker Barrel. We don't even have that either. There's like one around here, like up in the, like on your way out of town, but I don't even like that place either.
You don't like Cracker Barrel?
No, I'm not a big breakfast guy.
See, the Waffle House is about the extent of my breakfast. I can do that, but yeah, definitely all those travels. Outback, Zaxby's. I love Zaxby's. That's always a good, safe go-to, especially late at night, especially in Charlotte. Hate that. It's right there by the racetrack.
Yeah.
You can go right there to Zaxby's. But yeah, I am a big fan of eating certain places. PRI, we've got to we try not to share it, but, we have like a little food list. We have a rotation of the restaurants that we go eat when we're at PRI, but they're like one of them is downtown. The rest of them are out.
Is it Harry and Izzy's? Is that the one that's
no?
No.
Oh, that's not the one downtown.
Oh, wow.
No.
Wow. Don't tell me. You might have to show me at PRI.
Yeah, have to. Because and that's Louisville's the same way. You go to Louisville. There's certain restaurants around there that we like to eat at. So yeah, you got to take Chicago's the same way with that beaten path, good food. You got to have that. Got to have that nutrition for your racing.
So far with Motorsports travel, we have bring your patience on an airplane, bring your patience in your rig when you're driving, and make sure you find really cool food that's not, I guess, what is it, chain? You're talking chain stuff?
Yeah.
Unless it's Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, we say no chain.
No chains. Okay, so now I guess the next question would be, when you're traveling now, we've talked, it's very stressful, it's very serious, and it can also be fun as you go too. But I had a friend recently that got in a little bit of trouble in his rig, and it's a very good friend of mine, and he was driving, and it could have ended very badly. And all it was is he ran over a bolt in his motorhome and lost a steer tire, and his motorhome unfortunately ended up in a river with his race car trailers and stuff. So basically, this is my public service announcement to everybody that's getting into racing or already into racing. Just make sure and be careful. You don't have to go 95 for one, and which he wasn't, but unfortunately he ran over something which blew his tire, which his tires were good. All I'm saying is make sure you check all of your stuff before you go. And he did, and unfortunately like I said, he ran over something, but it could have been very bad. Unfortunately, his motorhome got totaled in his trailer and all of his stuff. But luckily, that's what insurance is for. And another thing, if you guys don't have motorsports insurance, you should probably look into that as well when we're talking travel, because you never know what can happen.
Oh, absolutely. So we've talked about, being patient and food and stuff. We can start down the path of horror stories. So I've got what do I have? I've got, I got 4 good ones and 1 really good one. 2 actually. Going to Bowling Green not too long ago, probably 8 years ago. Was going to Bowling Green, was crossing through Louisville, and actually lost an axle in a dually. Ooh. Rear axle. Going across the bridge, and just nothing. One tire turning, one side turning, the other one not. And was stranded there, traffic backed up, got rescued by Irvin Johns, got a towing company in Louisville. He's all over the Midwest. He came, towed all my stuff off. So that was bad. Had one where I lost both lost the outside rear tire going around an off ramp at 20 miles an hour. It just rolled off. Didn't damage the fender, didn't knock the fender off, just took off out in the middle of nowhere. So that's one of those things that you go, golly gee, what in the world? And now my most recent one, and I mean, when I say recent, like it still hasn't been fixed yet. Coming back from Minnesota, 12-hour drive. I'm 9 hours into it. going through Peoria, hit the on or off ramp, and it's got like 15 potholes in a row. Oh. And there's no sign that says rough road or anything. And do you see the signs, 35 miles an hour, make this off ramp turn. Yeah, I'm not speeding. I'm not going 100 through this turn. And all of a sudden, boom, 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 boop, off pops my tailgate as I'm going through the turn and stuffs it through the front of my living quarters.
Very nice.
Yeah, right through the two doors, right underneath the overhang. And so, things happen. They do happen. People lose tires all the time. I think Diane lost her mind once. We were coming home from a test session in Bowling Green and lost, I got a triple axle trailer, lost the middle tire on one side. We pulled into a truck stop. This little kid comes running up and he's like, Mister, your tire is laying in the middle of the road. I'm looking at this kid. I'm like, kid, get out of here. What the hell are you talking about, right? And I go around the other side. Sure as shit, that mug is gone. It's laying in the middle of the road.
That's funny.
I'm like, all right. So Diane's like, well, what are we going to do? I was like, we're going home. We got 5. Well, what do we need? What? Oh, man, she was white as a ghost for the next hour for the ride home from Bowling Green. She was like, are we going to lose another one? We'll be all right. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, I've had, when you race for so long, you're going to have some sort of horror stories. I mean, hell, my dad and I have had quite the travel issues. There was literally when we were racing juniors, there wasn't one race in a year that we didn't have a flat tire. And we started writing on our trailer door our pit stop times, how fast we could change a tire, like we were in NASCAR. And so it got down to like 2.5 minutes, which is pretty damn good. And that included getting it out of the trailer, jacking it up, and the whole shebang. But no, my dad said if he didn't have any luck, what does he say? Oh no!
If you didn't have bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck at all.
Exactly. But no, we're very lucky to be able to have these experiences. I mean, hell, we sat on the Grapevine for 14 hours one time when we had blown up my junior dragster motor. It was brand new. Broke the crank in it. Drove home. Going up the Grapevine, the motor home, like the switcher. This was years ago. Like the switcher for the dual tanks. It stopped in the middle, so it was starving it for gas because he switched it like halfway up the hill. And so it was starving it for gas, which then it kept dying. You're on a super steep Grapevine hill. You got to keep going. So it burned the starter out of it. And we sat on in the emergency lane for 14 hours with the motorhome and trailer because we called AAA or whatever. And it was like no service. He jumped over a fence, fell into a thorn bush. He came back all bleeding because he had to use a payphone. And because our cell phones didn't work and at this park. And and AAA thought they picked up the blue motorhome. Well, yeah, they picked up a blue motorhome 2 hours away. And we kept calling and they're like, we already picked you guys up. No. But yeah, which leads me into, like I said, that, with the unfortunate thing that happened to our friend Matt, and when we were broke down for all these hours on the Grapevine, and I'm sure this happens to you too. One of my favorite parts about racing and motorsports, and I'm sure this happens in NASCAR, late model, whatever else, but drag racing in particular is what I have the experience in. No matter what has ever happened to me on the road, you put something on Facebook or you call somebody, and there's literally 15 rigs in a blink of an eye, and you're like, holy crap! Like I have more tools and resources that I could ever possibly imagine right here at my beck and call. And that's what's so cool about racing. Like, poor Matt, when this happened to him, there was like 9 racers pulled over on the side of the road helping him swim out of the lake and do all this stuff, and they're taking their time out to do it, and they want to help you because they're your friends, or even if they're your competitor, they're out there doing what they got to do, and like I've had people like, hey, I'm stuck on the middle of the road. I have a friend that will drive 4 hours. He's laying in bed at home, bring you a part for your motorhome or trailer or whatever, just because that's who they are and they're good people,
Oh, absolutely. I got 2 of those. Trying to remember what year it was. Maybe it was like 11 or 12. Maybe it was 13. We were going to Brainerd and Brad Plord was coming from Seattle. He had done the Western Swing, and he broke down in North Dakota.
Oof.
Truck blew up. Dually. And he calls me. He's like, I don't think I'm going to make it. And I'm like, why? He goes, well, I'm broke down in North Dakota. I'm like, well, how far is that from here? I was already at Brainerd. He goes, it's like 4 hours. I was like, all right, I'll come get you. Yeah. I would stop my trailer, drive 4 hours to go get him, and back 8 hours, and then he ends up winning the race weekend. So, it's you got to – people will do it for you.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like you don't even really have to ask. It's like the untold rule. You know, like same thing if you blow up a part or whatever, like you have 6 motors sitting in your pit, you know, or whatever. By the time you get back from your run after cleaning up all the oil that you just spilled out, like it's luckily for the most part, everybody in racing is more than willing to help because they've all been in that situation and they understand and they know. I mean, that's what's cool. And that's what makes racing and travel and, you know, gaining all these friends so much fun within the motorsports world.
Absolutely. No, and it will, but you know, there are those people out there that will just tell you that, they're not going to loan you anything. And you make those, there's a short list of people out there. I've heard stories, you know, you make it short and just be like, okay, I'll remember your name, buddy. Yeah. Don't worry. I'm not going to put you on social media blast, but I got you. I got your number.
Yeah. So, I mean, but at the end of the day, like I said, I guess let's review as we wrap this up. Patience, and maybe a little more patience, and make sure you have some fun along the way and eat some good food, you know, and just enjoy yourself and have a good time and race cars while you're at it, you know.
That's it. It's a lifestyle. It's an experience. Take it all in, the good and the bad.
That's right. Well, as usual, we'd like to thank racepack.com, dragstersforsale.com, and Voice America for letting us do this. And we hope to hear you guys, let you guys listen to episode number 4 coming up. And we'll see you then.
Later, dude.
Thanks, man.